everybody. Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads on and emerged victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. And whether you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us, everyone, as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So be prepared to be inspired and to find the strength to navigate life challenges. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars-Venus life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, astrologer, tarot reader, life force compassion practitioner, chakra practitioner, and star magic practitioner. And today I have the immense pleasure to introduce you to a very special lady that I've been talking a few weeks ago, and I'm so happy to connect again with her today. Her name is Wonderful Morrison. Wonderful is an entrepreneur, best-selling author of the book called She Leads from Within, and she is also a podcaster whose life story is one of resilience, love, and fierce transformation. So welcome, Wonderful, to Amazing You.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I just enjoy talking with you. It's, when you are talking with somebody in alignment with your life and your trajectory, and it just feels really good. So thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. I have thoroughly enjoyed our previous conversation, and I've been looking forward to connecting again with you because we had such a wonderful time. So I would like you to share briefly your story, Wonderful, to the audience today.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction. I am an entrepreneur, and that is, I think, my calling. My calling has always been to be a business owner. But my original plan in life was to be a journalist. I wanted to be a war correspondent and get dropped off in war-torn countries and tell stories and communicate. And, the universe had a different plan for me. And hence, I became a business owner, which I didn't know at the time was what I wanted or what I needed or what was my calling. 25 years later, almost 30 years now, here I am still doing the thing. However, it's just in a different way. I built a brick and mortar with a family business, my husband and I, our 3 kids, and we built multiple. It was in the 90s, so there wasn't a lot of online anything going on, right? And about 2008, 2017, 2018, we had an unfortunate experience of a really deep, heartbreaking betrayal. A family friend stole our business. And I honestly didn't think I'd come back to business. I didn't want to. And I really, I don't know. There's, like anybody, there's all of us experience hurt, betrayal, pain, suffering. I'm not special and I'm not exempt from it. But this one hit really close to home because she was, to me, I feel like she was like our first child. She started working in the business at a really young age. And I just never thought it would be coming from somebody that close to me. But you hear all the time that, your family and close friends is where you're
Mm.
hurt the most. I just didn't think it would be me. I didn't think it
And,
happened to me.
and you didn't see that coming, that it would be somebody like her
No.
that you knew so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a
I
lot
thought
of
if,
grief in that, wasn't it, for you?
oh,
In that process of, there must have been a lot of
well,
frustration, sadness, anger, grief, and oh my God.
yeah. My major emotion for a long time was anger.
Okay.
It was anger, anger, anger. And then 5 years into what I would say now, I was resisting facing my pain, right? I just worked harder. I just, tried to show this like I'm strong, I can handle it, I'm not broken, I can do all things. I think I was in resistance. Seriously, I was in denial at first, and then I was in resistance. And 5 years into this pain of my life, I started seeing a forgiveness coach, which I thought, I had done tapping, I
Okay.
had done all different modalities of
Yeah.
healing, right? I'd done Reiki, I'd gone to experts and all these things to release myself from the pain and the suffering, which they did help.
Yes.
But this last piece of forgiveness, I just thought, you know what? I'm so over it. I'm just going to go. And because I saw myself not just suffering individually, but I saw it in my business,
Mm.
right? I saw that I was forcing myself to do something, and it just didn't feel aligned. I didn't know that that was a word then. I knew something was missing. And then when I started working with a forgiveness coach, it was not anything like I expected. I thought I was going to write letters. Oh, I forgive this person. But it became this deeper work of forgiving, where a lot of my pain started from my family. My father and I did not have a good relationship. It was very volatile, but my mother and I also didn't have a good relationship because she was very, like, we didn't share feelings. That's not the thing we did in our household. We didn't share feelings. We didn't commiserate over, you know, anything other than this is what you're supposed to do, follow what you're being told to do. So there was a lot of that. And I thought, I've already worked on this stuff. I've already worked on my parents' stuff. But forgiveness is a whole different arena. It's not therapy. It's the best way I could the best way I could describe it would be, it's not like a heart stint. It's like an actually replacing that organ. Like, I'm not band-aiding it. I'm really addressing it, facing it, confronting it. So that was a challenge, but I did it.
Wow.
So
And
yeah.
I think it's very powerful what you shared today, because when we all experience these kind of issues, betrayal, betrayal is a big thing in people's life. And
Mhm.
when we look at betrayal, when it happened to us in the moment or in that specific situation, there is more to this betrayal when we start to
Mhm.
peel back like you did, and you find out that it's your childhood in your family. That's where all this started. Usually that's where it started. It
Yes.
has a root cause. And
Yes.
can you share with us, because you have done forgiveness and I know the value of forgiveness. I have done it, and wonderful. I have seen shifts, transformation occurring in my life
Mhm.
that I would never have thought through the power of forgiveness.
I agree.
And then you have experienced that. Can you share with the audience? Because I want them to understand from your perspective as well, because you've had a coach, how powerful, how transformative that doing the forgiveness, going back and forgiving all those experiences and situations and people have been for you. How have forgiveness transformed your life? Wonderful.
Oh, what a big question. Because again, I went into forgiveness with an idea of like, oh, it's the last thing on my list, right? Here I am, sort of slowly chipping away at my pain and anger and my suffering. I'm chipping away, doing this thing, therapy, right? All the things. But when I got to forgiveness, it really was the transformative, it was the turning point, it was the tipping point, it was the pivot that I needed, because what I assumed was forgiving all the people who've wronged me from day one, it really became about forgiving myself. And that was like, oh my gosh, what? What? I'm not at fault. But really, when we tell people or we suggest to people or we've read a billion books, one of the most popular books is oh gosh, I can't even think about the principles, the Jack Canfield principles. The first thing he says is take responsibility for your life. Well, what I recognize is forgiving myself is the power of taking responsibility for me. That was the most transformative aspect of it, because I was making decisions in my life that was birthed from anger. And anger was being fueled by fear because I was afraid somebody else was going to hurt me. I was afraid somebody else is going to betray me. So I was trying not to get close. I'm trying to just be very logical and headstrong and head heavy, right? I know what to do, but really, connection isn't what we know. It's not information. Human connection is very little to do with what we know. It's about who we are. And that was a really hard place for me to be. Very hard because I'd been in such pain of betrayal. And I'll never forget when I recognized that, when I was talking to her one day and I was like, I don't know if I could love anybody like that. And her response was, love is not like a value of an orange or a car. The part of, she says, it's almost a gift that you feel this much pain because you were able to love that big. And it hit me like, oh, what? Because if I wasn't, if you don't get to experience love in connections and in your relationships, even friendships and in business relationships, your business, if you don't love your business, right? The bigger risks is that you might fail if you go all in. If you put all your energy into this, you might just fail. And I realized that by keeping love from other people because of this one particular deep pain, I was never going to be really successful in life. I was never really going to hit joy again, right? Because I was holding myself back from any love
Yeah.
because I'm so afraid.
Yeah, that is so true because when you live in anger and fear, you can't live in love. These are
Right.
two extremes. Fear and love, they can't coexist at the same time. And doing that forgiveness is transformative. And I've been telling my clients, never underestimate the power of forgiveness, because forgiveness, I learned that from, I'm sure you would have heard of Reverend Michael Beckwith. He talked about the forgiveness. I learned that from him, and I started applying it. And this, because I have done so many modalities, like you said, Wonderful. I've been like you. I tried everything to work on myself,
Right.
like you said, EMDR, everything, hypnotherapy. But doing the forgiveness was life-changing. There's always another layer to peel. And
Yes.
we always learn different techniques, but the forgiveness was key to me,
Yes.
shifting things even
Yes.
faster.
Absolutely. I think it's because not to say that any other modality isn't powerful, because they are. Like
They
what
are.
you do, hypnotherapy
Yes.
is very powerful.
Yeah.
But I think what forgiveness is because we have to personally do the work. Like she couldn't do it with me or me,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
Right. Like, so that was where I feel like a lot of the shift happened, is because I wasn't just waiting for her to work on me. It was like, you've done enough work. Now it's your turn to do the work. And I was like, oh my gosh. And honestly, again, I, I don't know about anybody else, but I like to curate my information and knowledge through information. I love to read. Academics is my jam. And I love anything that's very logic based, that has reasoning and understanding, and it has, a clear end goal. Forgiveness isn't that. It doesn't have a shape. It doesn't have a color. It is just whatever you're bringing into it is what it's going to be shaped into. And you could go in thinking it's going to be a purple candle and you walk away with a brown lamp. It was like, oh my gosh. And so, because I had to do the work, I had to physically and emotionally do the work. And I had done that in other formats, right, in therapy, but this required a deeper level of my vulnerability, I guess. I had to be really honest with myself.
Yes, I love that you said that. That's so true. Because forgiveness encourages you to really look at yourself, look at your life,
Mm-hmm.
and really dive deep into all those life memories and really see. Because in some part, whether we like it or not, we have been, because life has made us become like that, have made us disconnect, and have made us betray ourselves, because we forget ourselves in that busyness of life with the social media, with family conditioning. We lose ourselves. We betray ourselves. So it's now that forgiveness helps us to build that connection with us.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the big part for me too, being a business owner, knowing that I love it and it's what I've known what to do, right? My husband and I started our business when we were 22 years old. And then I went back to school to get my degree in it. So I feel like I'm really well versed in the space, but business at its very core is about human relationships.
Yes.
It's not about selling a product. It's not about selling a service. It's about human connection and human relationships. Well, if I wasn't in a relationship with myself, what was I really offering the world? Just the ability to know things. That's really what it was. And it made me stop and think, like, am I really helping anyone if it's just transferring information? Like, the best teachers I had growing up were the teachers that cared about me, that understood that I'm dyslexic and helped me process they went above and beyond. And we say that about great leaders. We say that about great business owners, that they're very conscious and intentional in their building and in their shaping, in the way that they great CEOs talk about, the people who follow them and they influence. And it all has to do with relationships. And I was like, I realized that, well, I have to straighten my relationship with me before I can ever have any relationship with anybody else, and then expect them to pay me. So it was imperative for me.
I think you made a great point. Wonderful, because the greatest relationship we will ever have is with ourselves. And when we have that great relationship with ourselves, then our business can succeed, because we are the face of the business. So first we have to work on us to improve our relationship with ourselves, because then everything will fall into place. You won't have to struggle, and things will flow when you are at peace, when you are connected with who you truly are. Yes.
Absolutely. And I know that now for sure, that taking that time, the hard spaces of working with women like you, that is focused on the relationship with self, that is the only equation to success. because you can make a lot of money and still not like yourself. That doesn't really get you anywhere. It doesn't bring you joy. It doesn't bring you happiness, right? It makes you feel further away from people you love, like your children, your spouse, your best friends. But when you really take the time to learn about who you are, why your nervous system gets wacky with a cat versus a dog, or, and that sounds simple, but that is really what it's about. Your success is so much more fruitful. Like when our business made $1 million, my husband and I were actually felt sleepless because now we're like, oh, how do we pay taxes on that? Oh my gosh, we have 3 young children. What if we can't pay the taxes on that? It feels like it's swallowing you up.
And can you share with us what daily practice, self-care
Yes.
routine
Oh,
that
that's
you
right.
do?
You did
Yes, yes.
ask. So being an entrepreneur for so long, one of the first lessons we learned from our mentors that were extremely successful in their industry, in their business, and in their life was self-care. Before that word was popular, they were very much two main things that we were told over and over again. If you want a successful business, you have to grow to the same degree that you want your bank account to grow. And when you don't, what we were told was, if you're not happy, if you don't have joy in what you do, stop doing it. So they taught us really early to have like routines, certain routines: exercise, drink water, read. Those were the 3 main things for 20 years: reading, water drinking, exercise, mindset things, right? So now in my midlife age, I'm not as hungry for chasing the dollar anymore. I'm more, my thirst is for growth as a person, and I want the people around me to be that way. So I have been practicing meditation now for 10 years. Um, so I meditate in the morning, and I'm a prayerful person because I remember a pastor said once, prayer is when you talk to God, but you also have to hear him. So you should meditate because we do a lot of this and not enough of listening. So I combine those together. And I've been an on and off journaler. Journaling is, but sometimes I was feeling like I had to do it. And I don't like to do anything where I have to do it. So recently I've picked up journaling again. So I spend the first 2 hours of my day really focusing on me, quieting myself. Like I really sit and I connect with my physical body. And I start to, I want to hear, a psychiatrist said, if we're not processing our emotions throughout the day, we can't sleep at night because that's the only time it processes, when you're quiet. And then he said, to follow up with that, he said, nothing great has ever come from just doing. Doing is a second step. The creativity is in the being. He's like, no chair we sit on, no apparatus that we touched, nothing was created because people were doing. They were silent for a moment and the creativity started to flow. And when I first heard that, I was like, oh gosh, sitting still, that sounds terrible. Like, how do I? And he said, it's not about quieting the mind. It's about accepting that exists inside you. So my meditation is accepting all the noise. Blah, 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 blah. And then pretty soon it starts to quiet down because I start to focus on my physical. But why is it doing that? Why? So I ask myself in my head, like, why am I feeling this? Why is that giving me a gut ache? Like, so I meditate, I pray, I exercise, I journal, and then the newest thing I've added is cold plunging.
That is very brave of you.
Yes, because I I am motivated by doing hard things. I like challenge. It's part of who I am. It's my personality. This is how I
Okay.
was made. So to me, in my younger years, it was signing up for a marathon or doing things that would challenge me. Well, cold plunging at this midlife is much more appealing than running a marathon. I'm doing anything like that. Like what is that, cross training or I'm not interested. I don't want to lift heavy things.
Yes, and I think you are very right to say cold plunging because this has so many benefits. I've heard of it. So many benefits for the body, for the blood pressure, for the skin. It's one of the best thing if we could do that. And one of my teacher, he does that every day, and he said that it gives him so much energy. It has so many benefits. He said he would never go back to a hot shower. Yeah.
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 I mean, I still love hot showers,
Yes.
but for me, I'm a trained martial artist, and that was my business prior to. And so much of martial arts is conditioning the mind to do hard things.
Yes.
So I needed to keep doing that because I don't do it regularly now.
Yeah.
My body just doesn't, it's just not where I want to be.
Yeah.
Where cold plunging is still a hard thing to do. It's not fun, people. It's not like, oh, I enjoy this thing every day. No, every morning I look at it and I go, oh, I have to do this. Oh, this is terrible. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But again, taking responsibility for our lives is accepting that I am older and I don't need force. I need flow. And this is where it is. So I'm getting better at listening to what's right for me versus what I think would be awesome or cool.
Yes, that is so true. So important too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wonderful. And looking back at your journey, Wonderful, what has been the most surprising lesson you've learned?
Oh, what a good question that is. The most surprising lesson that what I assumed gratitude is not what gratitude truly is. So when remember a couple of years ago when gratitude journals were a really big thing? Oh, you should write down things you're grateful for, but it's things like I'm grateful I can breathe. I'm grateful I have a home, which are important things to be grateful for. But in my forgiveness work, being grateful for my hostile father was something I've never experienced in my life. It made me feel whole because I can't change my past. I can't change who my father is. I can't change the way that I was raised. There is no thing out there that can put me back in time and do it differently. And when I found myself being grateful that my strength came from who he was as a father, the ways that he hardened me to, do the hard things, I caught myself in such honest tears. Like it wasn't angry tears. It wasn't angry. I was like, there was a purpose. He was my father. I am so much better for having had a father like him. When I spent a lot of my life being angry at him, I spent a lot of my life, all my therapy sessions, thousands of dollars was about my anger towards my father. And the moment that I could have this incredible forgiveness for him, it changed my life to see that, oh my gosh, gratitude is not a forced thing. Gratitude is accepting that my entire life led me here. Good, bad, ugly.
Yes.
Muddy, perfect sunshine, rainbows, quicksand. It was all part of this beautiful way that I exist. And by focusing on the gratitude, it lessened any blow of like betrayal. It allowed me to see that betrayal wasn't about me, it was about her.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was life changing.
Wow. Wow. Thank
That
you.
was a lesson I did not expect.
Yeah, in life we keep learning. We come here to learn our lessons on this earth and to grow, to help us to
Yes.
grow, and that's the only way to.
Yes.
But doing the inner work will help a lot as well to make life much easier. So It's so
Oh,
important.
100%.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think I would have gotten here if I didn't do any of the inner work.
Oh yes, me too. I wouldn't be here with you today. Oh, wonderful. One last question. What one piece of wisdom you would like to leave the viewers and the listeners with today?
Oh, gosh, you're just full of great questions today.
Thank you.
One thing, huh? Um, Gosh, one piece of advice I would say is it sounds so Bruce Lee, but don't pray for an easy life. Pray for ha- pray for a heart and a soul that can deal with the hard life, right? I think that is the essence of the way we grow, the way we grow in compassion, the way we become more empathetic and sympathetic, the way that we, can wear a shirt that says "Be kind" or smile or have joy in our suffering is when we can condition ourselves to pray for the hard life, but deal with it in love and joy, which isn't an easy path, but it is the only, I believe that every zero that's added to your paycheck becomes much more fruitful because, right, every time you get more clients, every time you win that big deal or close that person or all of these events, or you stood on a TED stage, which everybody wants to do, right? Everybody wants to get on the TED stage. None of it is actually very fulfilling or fruitful without knowing the hard road that you went through to get there. That's the only way you get there. And I think if we're always praying for an easy life, it's not a life worth living. It's not a life at all. And not to say go looking for hard things, but when the hard things come, like working with you, meditating for 10 minutes, that is not easy. That's hard. But if you can condition yourself to be still, condition yourself to be vulnerable with somebody that you don't want to talk, that you don't know, those are the only ways that you can come out of this thing called life feeling like you did all that you could, the best that you could with everything that you have and everything that you are. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. And that is so well said. Wonderful. Because I have experienced that, and so many great authors like Dr. Gabor Mate have said it is
Oh,
through
love that guy.
suffering. Yeah, you've heard of Dr. Gabor Mate. He
Hmm.
said, through suffering that we heal, we transcend, you know, and we can ascend
Yes,
as well to reach higher vibration, because when we are able to heal through those hard times, that's when we become a much higher version, much whole
yes,
version of ourselves again. So I think
absolutely.
I think any suffering that we experience, it's a way to go deeper, to
Yes,
release that so that we can feel more joy and happiness after this. After the pain, there is, after the sun, after the rain, there is always the rainbow, you know?
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
that is so, so true. We just have to stop not wanting to go through the rain.
Yes.
Don't resist. Don't resist the rain, no matter how much you want to.
Yeah, thank you. And my last question to you: what projects or initiatives are you currently working on, and how can people stay updated or get in touch with you? Wonderful.
So I am in a sabbatical with my business. I started my sabbatical in August, and I think I'm going to follow it out throughout the year because I really want to get to know this version of me, this midlife space, because I don't want to be the same business owner that I was before. So I'm taking a sabbatical on that. But I am having these kinds of conversations, deep, meaningful conversations on my podcast, which is Evolution of the Fempreneur, and on my social media, which I'm not so excited to share, but you know what? Again, you got to get through the rain to get to the rainbow. So, my social media platform of Instagram is Wonderful Morrison, where I will be sharing all of the things that we talk about here. My painful experience, what suffering was for me, what the journey of healing looked like, which I've never shared. So, I'm really scared to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I can't believe I just admitted that, but that's that's where I'm at. And until my business is at a place where it and I are in a loving relationship again, I'm going to work on being more vocal and sharing about me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And have you got a website that you would like to share with the audience, Morrison?
I do, but right now it's actually under construction
Okay.
because we didn't. But it's the same. So my business was called Lead Her Academy.
Okay.
So it's geared for women in business to helping them scale their business and grow their business. And so we're revamping that right now. But when it is available, it's leadheracademy.com.
Okay. All right. I'm sure by the time that this podcast will be aired, your website will be ready.
Yay!
So huge thank you. Wonderful for your time today to be on the podcast and the YouTube channel and to share your personal experience, your journey, and what you do. And I wish you a lot of success in everything that you do. And I would like to say also a big thank you to the audience for watching, for sharing, and for subscribing. And everybody, want you to remember that you are amazing, you have always been, and you always will be amazing. Just believe in it, let it sink into you, because the more you believe in it, the more the great things you will do. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.